Hi there, I'm Evan.
And I'm Mark, and on this week's episode, we talk about making yourself proud.
We circle around on a pretty big picture idea that Mark's very happy with.
Okay, there you go.
I was almost late today.
But good thing you weren't, because otherwise I'd be able to make fun of you.
I was chatting with Bo. Bo's messaging me about Mark Drager and people we need to reach out to. So I was like, okay, yeah. That person knows me. Oh, yeah, that person we could do. Anyway, like, it's 3:00. I got to go. Sorry, Bo.
He already emailed me yesterday, and he was like, man, I got someone that I put pretty high up on, like, I put up on my list of, like, kind of a big fish. And he's like, yeah, interviews in October. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go.
Who's that?
Yeah. Kerwin Way. Do you know Kerwin Way? I can't say his name properly because my old lisp, my R's, Kerwin Ray.
R-A-E?
There you go. Yeah.
I have this guy in my list. Like, I have him in my search history. Why?
Yes, because I talked about him a week ago with you when I said, hey, do you know this guy? You know, he's followed by Impact Theory. He's followed by Lewis Howes. He's in your circles. He's an Australian. Puts out a lot of content, man. Puts out like 7-8 pieces a day.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm excited.
So that's official? Bo lined it up?
He emailed me. He said, are you free October 20th? So I said, yes, I am.
All right. Nice, man. I like it. I like it. Momentum.
Let's go, right?
Momentum. Kerwin Ray. He wasn't the one. There was a couple he was messaging me about. That wasn't one. But I guess you already lined that up. And I don't know him. So
I also jokingly, but at the same time, secretly deep down inside would love it. I also suggested maybe Ellen DeGeneres or Pink, you know, like these kind of strong women that I'd like to connect with. But anyway, we'll see what Bo can do.
Ellen is in a whole bunch of mess right now, so I doubt it. But Pink, maybe.
What's she in a mess of? I didn't even hear.
Really? Oh, man. Ellen is disaster right now.
Because of all of the race relation stuff that's happening, or not?
No. Toxic workplace.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Her team, 4 people in the senior management, they're being accused of a bunch of sexual stuff as well as just toxic workplace and diversity, like putting Black people down. And I'm not the news junkie, so I don't know all the details, but she came out and said something about how it's ultimately, she's not the one taking the heat. She got 2 things at the same time. One is that Ellen is just a terrible person to work for in terms of just putting you down and high demands and not, just not fun to work with.
Yeah.
And then at the same time,
sounds like a comedian.
Yeah. And then at the same time, like a week later, all of the allegations of just bad work environment, toxic environment, racism, sexual misconduct not from her, but from her senior team. Yeah. And I think she fired some people or I don't know. Anyway.
Well, clearly you're not a news junkie. I didn't even know about this. So, wow.
Yeah. So I don't think Ellen's doing anything anytime soon on that stuff. Pink, I don't know what she's up to. Pink should be, I don't know. I don't know what Pink's doing.
Pink she finished up about a year ago her world tour. Her son had COVID. So they were working through that. She got it too, I think. She's just living the rock star life, I guess. You know, she was wakeboarding the other day, and
Jacqueline liked it. All right.
Yeah, we follow Pink. Anyway, that's not what I was going to talk to you about today. How's it going, man? For everyone who might be wondering what's going on YouTube,
okay,
or even the audio, I'm wearing a face mask because I'm in a hotel lobby because I'm on vacation right now, and we're waiting for our room. So,
sounds good.
Yeah. Does it sound good? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, 3 things I was going to talk to you about today, but and Bo doing a rock star job in terms of helping book interviews for my other podcast was not one of them. But you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, you're frowning.
I'm waiting.
Oh, you're waiting.
My friend Mark, the great communicator, was like stumbling on his words. Like, let's get to something. What are we doing here?
Because when you were like frowning, I was like, it threw me off.
I'm waiting.
Okay, so something really cool happened. So during the shutdown, during COVID, I think a lot of people fell off. They fell off things. They fell off the routine. They fell off what they were doing. Anyway, so Jacqueline and I worked really, really hard not to get out of shape. And my wife, she really loves Orange Theory. she wants to work there. So she became a personal trainer and completed that. And right when she was completing everything and wanting to get to work, COVID hit. And she's like, oh, I've lost all my opportunities and it's all terrible. And so she kept doing workouts. She started doing IG live workouts.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, after a few months, she's like, what is the point? No one is showing up to the lives. No one's working out with her. No one's really commenting. No one's doing it. And I said, just keep going, right? Like, it's good for you. It's good practice. Just keep going. People are watching. Don't worry. People are watching. They're taking notice. And she's like, no, they're not. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we've gone back to the gym and she's been working so hard to get into Orange Theory. And then today, the head coach went up to her and said, hey, we're auditioning new people and we want to invite you to an audition.
Okay.
Because of the fact that during COVID, she stayed on top of it. Oh, cappuccino cup coming Evan's way.
Thank you, Nina.
I can see Nina in the background. Because she stayed on top of it, because she was doing the IG lives, because she couldn't wait to get back. Like, okay. So the biggest takeaway. So first of all, I'm really happy for her because it's a little win. But I wanted to share it's an audition, and I wanted to share the story though, because so often we're doing things and thinking that no one is watching, that no one's paying attention, that no one's looking. What's the point? Why should I keep going? But her doing it for herself for practice, first of all, was really good. But secondly, people were watching. They were noticing. They were paying attention, even if they weren't commenting. And so now she has this opportunity in front of her as the next step, simply because of the work she did while everyone else was sleeping. So I'm really proud of her for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So I wanted to share that. Do you have anything to add to that theme or no?
That's a great video. That you should record that. That's a YouTube video. That's a 10-minute YouTube video.
Already did earlier today. So what I wanted to talk to you about today was damn the Doritos. Damn the Doritos. So your big thing, which people love to grab onto, is what? Like, rather than get rid of Doritos, rather than go through your junk drawer, rather than cleanse your house of everything that might tempt you to pull you away from your goal of eating well or whatever, instead of getting rid of it so you can't be tempted, you put it right in front of you. So that way you stare at it every day. So that way you smell it. So that way you know that you're stronger than the Doritos, right?
Yeah, as a step two, but yes, ultimately.
As a step. Well, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So,
okay.
So I was listening to Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo, great book. And she was leaning in again on the life hacks to make things easier so that way you can get the goals you want by hacking things.
Okay.
And I was thinking about you while I'm listening to this, going, no, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Don't cheat. Don't do any of that stuff. And I think I subscribe to her side more than you. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I was going to talk to you last week about it, but I want to talk to you about today. Do you think that you're hardcore black and white, damn the Doritos, or I'm going to take a smell of it, or I'm going to have the whipped cream touch my nose because I'm stronger than it? That's pretty next level stuff. And you don't like the cheating or it's not nerve, it's excitement. Get rid of all the chocolate in your house so that way you don't but that other side of things, the cheating side of things, the way you call it, don't you think that's actually better for people?
Better how?
Better how? Because you get immediate wins right away. You can start to build some confidence and you can hit goals that you want to hit rather than turn everything into you proving to yourself strength and that you're a certain type of person or this or that.
So of all the things that I talk about, this is probably the most controversial where I disagree. Yeah,
you and Joe Polish got into it as well, right?
Did we?
You did. You don't. Okay, I remember better than you. You did get into this.
Where I diverge. I don't think it actually diverged that much, but in terms of the advice, I diverge. I think it's a good momentum builder, right? I think how I've described it is, hey, imagine if you broke your leg, you use crutches. It's going to help you. right?
Mm-hmm.
But your ultimate goal is to not have to use a crutch for life. Your ultimate goal is to walk again, to run again. So if step one means you get rid of all the junk food from your house, because what's worse is eating the Doritos.
Yes.
Like, it's better to get them out of your home instead of having them in front of you and you opening them up and eating them. Not health, mindset, right? Like, you did the hard, it's here, say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, it's better not to be around you.
It was the best audio ever. Oh, I need to pull that humming sound.
It's the best. Like, that's better. But long term, I think I want to make decisions. The philosophy is make decisions that make me proud of myself. Make decisions that are not making me weaker.
But if you are susceptible to giving in or falling trap of it, then you'll feel worse about yourself because you weren't strong enough.
But okay, so great. So, like, don't go to the gym and lift 1,000 pounds when you can't lift a 5-pound dumbbell.
I don't know what that means in this regard.
Because that's the equivalent. Like, you're not going to walk if you're trying to bench press and you're being spotted and some guy drops 400 pounds on you, you're going to break your arm trying to lift that stupid thing.
Okay, so,
right? You may not be ready, but everybody's susceptible. This is not just like some people or some. Everybody's susceptible.
I don't fall asleep very easily. Let's say this isn't true. I mean, I don't fall asleep very easy, and my phone's a huge distraction for me, and it makes me feel like garbage. So rather than put it by my bedside and be strong enough not to touch it, I'm going to lock it outside my room.
Yeah, I think you're telling yourself you suck.
That's something you don't like.
Right.
I'm about to get on stage. Oh, I got butterflies and I'm all anxious and my stomach's in knots. No, that's not anxiety. That's excitement. I'm excited about this. Let's go. You don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been eating like crap. Like, I've got these keto chocolate things. Oh my goodness. I pretty much have to tell Jacqueline not to buy them because if they're in the cupboards, I'm going to want to eat them. And if I'm sitting up in bed,
you went through this with the cookies, the peak freens.
Yeah.
Which was much more difficult when you were starting on your keto journey and trying to stay consistent on everything. That's a lot harder. You already went through the hard. Keto chocolates now? It's like, here's the thing. You've gotten softer now. You were stronger back then than you are right now. You're weaker now. Same thing for me, dude. I look at my neck brace. I'm like, damn, I did that? I don't remember being that guy. Like, the muscles atrophy if you don't use them. Mark Drager from a year ago, who had peak freens in his office, who was smelling them and so proud of himself, now can't handle a keto chocolate being in the cupboard. What happened?
No,
atrophy.
I still have the peak freens there, but yeah, like last summer, I didn't drink any alcohol. I didn't have any cheating keto things, no good fat bars, none of that stuff. And I was really clean and making great progress. And
you're atrophying. You've atrophied. You've gotten weaker.
But I think more people are like me.
No. This isn't a like me. No. That's this is the one thing that you need to immediately and permanently erase from your mind. This is not a like me thing. It's not. This is a human thing. Everybody is. I wish I could eat the Doritos every day. It's not a Evan is just crazy. This works for everyone. So of course it's easier to tell yourself that you suck. Of course.
Oh, I just want that to be a stepping stone. I'm not saying I'm suck.
That's exactly what you're saying to yourself when you tell Jacqueline, don't buy the keto chocolate because I can't handle being around them equals I suck. That's the point. Yeah, that's the point. And
this is what I wanted to talk to you about today.
And as a stepping stone, I like it. As a stepping stone is fine. As a stepping stone, it's okay. But as a long-term solution, waking up and telling yourself that you suck every day and finding lots of different ways to do it is destructive to your mindset, to your health, to your goals.
But don't you think that adopting something that you see immediate results for, so stepping stone, hold on, stepping stone, but then just folding it in and maintaining it and just going with that because it's rhythm, because it works for you. Like what's wrong with that?
Because
what's wrong with me
walking with
taking
crutches.
A moment to go, okay, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. I'm going to have fun. Okay, let's go. Like versus me saying, I'm Mark Drager. I do hard things. Doesn't matter if I'm nervous or not. Screw it. Let's go. Right. Like,
because when you're on the treadmill and you tell yourself that all those stories are going to work and I'm going to remind myself of blah, 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 instead of just, I do hard things, that's what's actually going to help take your confidence, your self-love, and your self-respect to the next level. Self-love comes from doing difficult things, not from letting yourself off the hook. Full period, end of sentence, stop. You want to prove to yourself that you're capable, that you're strong enough, not that you suck and that you're weak. And the more that you can do that on a daily basis, the more you're going to win. Mindset-wise, win. You're going to love yourself more, not just find hacks. Like, I love hacks, but I want ultimately hacks that make me feel stronger about myself. And I think that's healthy. I think if you at the beginning need to put your phone in this, like Mel Robbins put the phone in the kitchen or whatever. I think it's like the last thing you tell yourself before you go to bed is, I'm not capable of just waking up to my phone. I think that's a very toxic, negative, destructive thing. You're telling yourself before you go to bed, I'm not capable of waking up and just getting up. I have to have this crutch and put it in the other room. As a lifelong habit, I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible. As a short-term habit replacement, fine, it's a crutch. But I don't want you walking with crutches for life.
So I think that the issue that Joe took with this was where it came to substance abuse or recovery or things like that, where he's like, nope, I'm not sure I can get on board with that. You know, I would never recommend an alcoholic go to a bar, surround himself with drunk people, or just to say, look at how strong I am. I'm awesome. You know, like the idea of putting yourself in situation or putting roadblocks up or guardrails up to keep you from temptation, to keep you from putting yourself in a bad situation. So I don't know if anyone else would say that teaches you that you're a weak person or a bad person. I think that's an Evan thing.
I don't want to, sure, I'm fine that being an Evan thing. I mean, I'm sure if you asked Goggins, he might have a similar opinion, but I don't want to dive into addiction. And Joe, you know, it lives in that world. That's where he came from. That's who he's still helping a lot. It's a super passionate project of his. He's helped a lot of celebrities overcome, you know, addiction and stuff. But to the point from the start, it's a stepping stone. You can't go to the gym and lift 1,000 pounds. You may not be able to, if you can't do it, if you're going to succumb, it's better not to do it. You're not able to. You're not strong enough. But I want to start teaching myself, and I want others to teach themselves to build the muscle. Instead of avoiding your whole life, to build the muscle, to get strong enough to handle it and show yourself what you're made of. So I haven't been an alcoholic, so I can't tell. And I don't think an alcoholic who's, you know, just recently sober should go to a bar or go to a New Year's Eve party. Or, like, I don't think that's smart. You don't have to go and do the hardest thing right away. It's steps. So what's the answer then? Like, never go anywhere where there's no alcohol, never go to a restaurant, never go to a cruise ship, never go to an office party. Like, at some point you have to be able to, and at the beginning, I'm fine with that. Is that step number one? No alcohol in the house, no friends who drink, no supermarket, no restaurant, nothing. Great. But imagine that being your life. I think you can grow through it. I think you can go through it. I think you should be able to eat at a restaurant. I think you should be able to go to a cruise ship. I think you should be able to be at an office party and then feel the temptation. And even if you leave, you feel the temptation, you walk out. I think that's better than just being afraid constantly and never showing up because you worry what might happen. Like, I think if you never test your limits, you never grow. If you keep lifting 10-pound dumbbells, you don't build the muscle. You just kind of stay where you are. And I think that's what humans want. We want the growth. So, I mean, you look at Tom, who we both respect. One of the conversations that the next time I have meet Tom, this is the conversation. He still lives in the mode of, he has massive anxiety, and he lives in the mode of everything is a practice. When he's about to go on stage, he says everything is practice. Mm-hmm. This is just a practice, doesn't count for anything. Mm-hmm. And it seemingly goes against everything that he wants to be, where he loves Goggins. He made the Goggins shirt that he had to take down because Goggins was not a fan of it.
What did the shirt say? What would Goggins do?
Yeah. Just trademark or whatever.
Yeah.
But he loves Goggins. He wants to be that. He needs to be that, and yet he's not allowing himself to be that. So now I'm sure he's thought through this, right? I'm sure it's like, oh wow, Evan, I never thought about that, right?
I can't even imagine him making that voice. That's funny.
No, I'm sure he's thought through it, but I think that's where he should be. Especially for him, right? Especially for somebody who's already beyond the basics of the beginner step. So if you're talking about it as a crutch, I'm down with it. I love it. I think it's great. But I think as a tool for life, I think it does a massive disservice to you. Like you forget if you're on crutches.
His premise is the only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. He says it over and over and over again. The only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself. So I can understand why your theory plays into that, right? What you're teaching yourself, what you're showing yourself.
I don't get how that going on stage. I'm nervous, so I'm gonna pretend that I have so much anxiety that I'm gonna pretend that it's just a practice or warm up, that it doesn't mean anything, and that's my constant pattern to myself. I don't know how. He
also uses the dark side, and you don't like that either. So differences.
No, I don't like the dark side as a default. I think the dark side is super powerful. But Tom has a list, right? I don't have a list. There's nobody's like, I think ultimately if the thing that gets you to go do the thing you need to do is to prove to your grade 8 teacher that you can be a success, I think you're just operating totally from the wrong spot. Can it be used in micro moments? Maybe, but it's coming from a weak place. It's coming from an insecure place. And I think the more decisions you make from that place, the more you lose and the less happy you are as a human.
So do you think that everybody who's purporting to give these hacks and give these shortcuts, it's the gateway, it's the entry level, and it's beneficial for those who are trying to start something, and you're speaking kind of more next level, more advanced classes? Do you think it just comes down to that? Or do you have a fundamental issue with even prescribing,
it's not a fundamental issue with prescribing, but I think in general, people need to be harder on themselves. I think in general, people need to push themselves more. I think in general,
I got into an argument with someone about that because I think
hopefully not your neighbor across the street who.
No. This is a friend. This is a good friend because one of our mutual friends has a tendency of being very forgiving and very soft. And at one point, I was just like. I was just getting tired of listening to the excuses and stuff. And I was like, you know what you need to do? This is on you. You just need to do it. You're being too soft on yourself. And then they stepped in to say, no, that's so toxic and it's so bad. And no, you can't tell someone to be hard on themselves. That's terrible. It erodes self-confidence and self-esteem, and they're going to beat themselves up all the time. And I think they were just projecting, but
of course,
maybe I was just projecting myself as well, but
it's hard to say specifically without being there, right? I mean, it's some people can't make the progress until you unburden them. And so they need to be more gentle on themselves in order to go and be more harsh on themselves. Ultimately, I think people should be hard on themselves, but they can't because there's so little self-love that they have that if they're hard on themselves, they'll jump off a bridge. I think people are so pushed almost to the edge that they can't be hard on themselves because there's no self-love. You can go hard on yourself when you love yourself more. I could go to a speech or an event and tell me why I suck at this. Like punch me in the face of why I suck at this, because nothing they're going to say is going to hurt my feelings, because it's grounded in self-love. Without the self-love, you can't go harder on yourself. So someone like that, it's likely a combination of what you're both saying. Step one is they need to love themselves more and be more gentle and forgive themselves for past mistakes and stop living in the past and all the things they did before that led to where they are right now, and they just can't get out of their own head. Going harder doesn't help, but it's getting them back to ground level and then absolutely push. So somebody asked me this on Instagram yesterday, and like, how do I push myself harder versus gentle myself? And I said, right now, it's 98% chance it's go harder, and 2% chance it's be more gentle. Even today I'm suffering. Like today, this week has been rough. We've got, a family member who's got a terminal illness, and it's kind of getting close, and it's just, there's nothing you can do, right? It's grief and loss is one of the emotions that, you just have to feel. I don't think you can fight. Jealousy, rage, anger are bad emotions that I want to kick out, but grief, loss, you just have to work your way through. So we're struggling. Last night I barely slept. Went to bed at 3, and still showing up. And listen, everybody would have been okay. I could have told my friend Mark, I'm just not feeling it. I can't do this. Everybody would have been fine. But just before this, Nina and I lay down and we did a quick meditation in bed. I skipped my IG live. I'm going live with someone else at 4, and I skip my IG live at 2 that I normally do. I'm okay with that. Like if you're going to skip something, you have to be proud of the reason why. On a normal day, I would never skip. Like I broke my neck. I was still making IG lives from the hospital, even if it was 5 minutes, because I said I was going to do it.
Yeah, but most people would have taken last week off and this week off and probably the next 2 or 3 weeks off.
Yeah,
because of everything that you're going through.
They don't have the muscles, and that's fine. And so if you look at what speeds you're able to get, look at how fast you ran on the treadmill. What'd you run? You're so proud of yourself. What'd you run when you went back to Orange Theory?
What's fast as it would go?
What speed is that?
12 miles an hour. 12
miles an hour. If you think back to Mark, who was just starting this journey, you put it at 12 miles an hour. He's falling on his face on the treadmill. And I'm like, right? Like you can't do the 12 miles an hour because, you'd be lucky to do 6 or 8 or whatever. Like you don't have the muscle. You're not good at it yet. That's okay. But it's anybody can get it. It's like anybody can build that muscle. Anybody can build this muscle. And I think it's, if you want to be happy, if you want to love yourself, this is the muscle that you need to build.
So how do you know when to move from the hack, the crutch, to the next level? And in your mind, is it acceptable to go back to the crutch when you find yourself backsliding or getting distracted?
What was the Tom Bilyeu quote?
The only thing that matters is how you feel about yourself when you're by yourself.
Right. So very similar to what I think, which is when you're proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself for the action you're doing? This is why it's so hard to ask for somebody else's opinion. This is why everybody else is just projecting. You could go and do something amazing and say, hey, look what happened. Everybody could give you tons of accolades, but you could do better. Like that was an easy win. Like that doesn't actually count. And there's other times, like even Jacqueline, who's working on doing her fitness thing and nobody's watching. There's no accolades. And then it ends up working out. Right? So all that matters is, are you proud of yourself for the actions that you're taking? So step 1 is, if I'm going to get rid of my cell phone or get rid of the Doritos or whatever, that's a big step. So like step 1, just not buying Doritos or not having them in the house, that's a huge win. That's a huge win. But at some point, that huge win is not a huge win. Now that's just normal. Now you're not proud of it anymore. And you shouldn't be proud of it anymore. Now you need the next thing. When I did I think I told the story. Did I tell the story of the Columbus guy with the cold shower?
It wasn't Columbus. I think it was, you're talking about, oh gosh, what's his name? Not Nick. Is it the guy who jumps? Who does basketball jumping videos and stuff?
No.
Cold showers, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh?
Maybe? No, it was Columbus. It was the first stop.
First stop was Pittsburgh.
Oh, was it Pittsburgh? Okay, then maybe it was. Yeah, then it was Pittsburgh. So anyway, so this guy takes cold showers 6 days a week, and 1 day a week is off. And they had a power outage, and they had no heat, so they're freezing all day long. And it was like this January in Pittsburgh, not a super warm place to be.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't have my cold shower today. What should I do? And he wants my opinion, my validation to say yes or no. Where all that matters is, what does he think about himself? Like, are you proud of the reason? I could make a case either way. It's like, hey, I froze my face off all day long. That counts as my cold shower. Do you feel good about that? Said, no, I'm not proud of it. Okay, then go have a cold shower. And then do it again tomorrow when it's your day off and you're not supposed to do it. Just because. And I want a video of it. And so he took a video. His girlfriend took a video of him from the waist up taking a cold shower.
Just shivering.
Yeah, that he did it. Like, and that's how you get the self-confidence and self-love. But only he can make that decision. If he said, no, I'm proud of myself because I was frozen all day and this is way colder than I would normally be. Great. I'm pumped for you. How do you feel about yourself? That's where self-love comes from, where people are seeking the validation from other people. That's the problem. So are you proud of the reasons why you're doing it or not doing it? Right. I'm okay.
So if you're the type of person though, who isn't hard enough on yourself and you tend to lean more towards beating yourself up and you tend to lean that way, then you're very rarely going to be proud of whatever it is you're doing. No? You're not proud of Damn the Doritos right now because it's so easy for you, right?
Yeah, Damn the Doritos is a reminder. You know, Damn the Doritos, but I'm proud of showing up for this podcast.
Okay, so what's your current Doritos then that you're damning from your life?
Lots, like showing up for this podcast, not messaging you and canceling, not even taking an Advil, just showing up. The Doritos was never even the big thing. The Doritos just was just a symbol, just like the neck braces is a symbol. But the idea is that you're constantly tackling multiple areas of your life where you feel like you're ready to grow. You're ready to grow. So, yeah, I don't know. Yesterday I did an interview with Dr. Stephen. Oh my God, what's his last name? I'm blanking now.
He's kind of a big deal.
He's a huge deal.
About him, and I was like, I don't know who this person is.
Hold on, Instagram. This is super embarrassing.
Kind of a big deal.
Gundry, Dr. Stephen Gundry. I gave a list of 100 people that I wanted Bo. So Bo is a guy that I invested into who goes and books guests for people's shows. So I gave him a list of 100 people. Dr. Gundry was on that list. He said, none of your time's fit, but I can do this Wednesday at 3:00. So this was on a Monday, right? So immediately, of all the people on my list, he's probably like the least I had context on, or at least in like the bottom 10% of people who I know, who I have some context on, right? We just did a top 10 on him, but I'm not super deep into his world. He's also, so I'm nervous, right? It's only a day and a half away. Now I'm even more nervous. He's a crazy science guy who talks very scientifically on things. Science was my worst subject in school. I dropped it as soon as I could. And so it's like, oh my God, I'm not even going to understand the things that he's saying.
You mean you can't feel your way through science?
Of course. Like now you're talking the logical side. I'm in the emotional, like I'm drowning here, right? Like, what am I going to do? All the fears start kicking in. You know, I saw the interview of him on Tom Bilyeu's show, and Tom is so deep into all this stuff and asks all these great questions. And in my head, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to suck. This is going to be the worst thing ever. Sylvan, do you want to do it? Absolutely. Let's go. Right? Because I do difficult things. Because the worst thing you can teach yourself is, no, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do well. It's not, no. And then when's my chance to talk to Gundry? I don't know. Maybe never. Maybe it never comes up again. So absolutely I want to do it, even if I fall on my face. Now, did it go well? Of course it went well. But the logical side, like I always crush my interviews. I just have to find, I'm curious. I'm going to ask good questions. I'm going to tap into something. But I spent way more time researching him than I normally would somebody else. And for the hour before the show, I was a wreck. Like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't focus on, and it's my project day. This is not what I'm supposed to do on a Wednesday, right? So I was behind on doing all my movement maker stuff, which I was supposed to do yesterday. And I spent a full hour basically just procrastinating, like researching
really?
him. Yeah, dude, I was so nervous for this thing yesterday.
Nobody ever sees that side of you.
Well, here you go. You get to see it. Like if it was, Now he's not as big a name as like who did I have on before? Dean Graziosi goes live this week, but I know Dean, right? I mean, I've hung with him. He's been on like 3 times or something. So that I know we can easily just go to questions in the audience and we're gonna have a great time. This one I don't know much on him, so. Yeah, the hour before, I'm practicing how I'm going to introduce him. I'm looking through his stuff. I'm trying to like Mark Drager, my friend, gave me a script I needed to record ads for, and like, okay, I got an hour, I can film that. I'm not like my mindset wasn't there. So I didn't record the ads, but I know in the afternoon after the interview, I'm going to make sure that I get it done. So yesterday was rough, right? On top of everything else I'm dealing with family stuff, but that's part of the game. So do I want to be, if I said, listen, I'm struggling with some family health issues, I'm sure Gundry would be okay. But maybe I don't get that time again. And I don't want to teach myself that there's these great opportunities for me that I'm scared of that I'm going to say no to. I don't think that's how you build self-love and self-confidence.
Okay, so but here's the thing. Like when I hear this story, aren't you beating yourself up for wasting an hour procrastinating through nervousness and all that? Or is that where you're super forgiving with yourself? Because I would be mad at myself for like, come on, Mark, why did you just waste an hour? And why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that?
No, I'm okay. Like that's the soft side. Like I did the best with what I had. I'm proud of my effort. I'm proud that I said yes, that it was hard, that I ended up spending the time researching him more and practicing because I thought this is more important than me recording those ads right now. Like I can always record. Yeah. Worst case, like I don't get to it till next week. It's fine. It's still more important for me to just, even if the interview tanks or he doesn't show up, it's still more important for me to be ready and to just be having the willingness to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I forget who it was. I had another person who it was last year or so that I was scared to interview, same kind of vibe. And then last minute, like 3 minutes before or something, his assistant says he can't make it. After I had prepared and what then with all the anxiety and like, oh my God, 3 minutes to go, let's go, breathe. Okay, we're ready to do it. And then cancel. And I felt like not relief, like what? This sucks, right?
You were robbed of the opportunity.
Not even like not anger at him, just the letdown of like I would have rather gone and done it than to have it be canceled.
Yeah. Where
earlier, Evan I was secretly hoping people would cancel on me so that I didn't have to show up and potentially disappoint people. That's the muscle. I'm people like me. I'm the same guy. I was afraid of every single meeting. I was afraid of helping a startup entrepreneur when I had already built and sold my business and had all this, knowledge to help. I was afraid of meeting somebody at a Starbucks because I was a pure startup thinking I couldn't help her or bring her value. It's that muscle building over time that you get strong. So the damn Doritos now is I try on a daily, and I think the days, if you have too many days in a row where you don't work out, you atrophy. Mark's afraid of having keto chocolate in his house now. What? Right? Like he atrophied hardcore, right? You got to build up the muscles again.
I had a milkshake this week of all things.
But like, I don't mind that so much. Like you had a milkshake once in the past year and a half to celebrate your wife's birthday, right? Like that doesn't matter.
And I did it for her because I know that if I take her out for ice cream and I sit there and watch her, it makes her feel terrible about herself to eat ice cream in front of someone who's not eating ice cream.
So are you proud of the reason why?
Oh, totally. I love it.
Then you're good. Right? That's all that matters. Where somebody else might say, no, Mark, you screwed yourself over. You set yourself back. You ruined your streak of 400 days in a row. Like, screw you. I'm proud of myself, right? Like, that's all that matters. You're proud of yourself. You did this thing. You did it for your wife. Now, if every day now you wake up and just down a milkshake, that's going to lead to problems, right?
100%.
So are you proud of yourself for your decisions? And that's the only thing that you can decide. So so before this, I was meditating and laying in my bed because I like after Movement Makers this morning, it was awesome. I almost called Nina in, like, Nina, I need an Advil or something. Like I'm going to pass out. Because I gave it everything. It was fire. It was a fire session, but I like had nothing left. And then I had to go to back to back. I had an hour and a half then of straight other shows, and there was no time. Like if I asked Nina to bring in an Advil, she'd be interrupted. Like you'd see her on camera coming in, and whatever. Worst case, not that bad, but I just kept going. And then I wanted to be ready for this, so I skipped my IG. And after this, I got a bunch of other stuff. So I thought, you know what? We're going to meditate and lie down for 20 minutes. Great. I'm okay with that. I love that. I'm happy. You don't like that? You think I'm soft? Awesome. I don't care. I think I'm amazing. And that's what that's what I want people to feel. I want you to feel like you're amazing for the choices that you are making in your life, regardless of what Evan Carmichael or Mark Drager thinks of you. And most people don't feel like they're even close to amazing, and that's the problem.
And so the secret to feeling more amazing is actually to be harder on yourself, to make things more difficult, and prove to yourself that you can get through it. So that way, on the other side of the challenge and the pain and everything else comes this tremendous sense of pride and satisfaction. It's counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive to make your life harder and worse in order to feel proud of yourself.
The macro is proud of yourself. The first step is like even getting rid of the junk food. That's hard. Getting rid of the junk food is hard. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, I don't think it's hard for people. I think in the burst of courage, the burst of excitement, you take everything and you throw it in a garbage bag and you say, "Screw this! I'm not going to do that."
But then the next day, it's the not going back.
It's the maintain. It's 5 days later when the fun and the excitement is worn off.
Like the next day, later at 3 p.m. that afternoon. So how long you stay in that first step of having no junk food in your house? When you break your leg, you're on crutches, not for just a day, right? You're on crutches for a while. So if you need to stay in that zone for 3 months, I don't care. But I don't want you there for life. As long as you're still proud of yourself. So that's difficult. That's like a week later, that's still difficult. That's difficult not going, when you go on Sunday to go grocery shopping and not buying the Twinkies or whatever it is and bringing them back home like you usually do, because that's your habit, because you've been doing it for the past decade of always buying your go-to snack or ice cream or whatever. And this time you're not going to buy it and you already feel hungry checking out of the aisle. That's hard. But you make yourself proud by doing difficult things. Not by letting yourself off the hook.
We do hard things, right?
We do hard things. I'm surprised that you're more with the other camp. Like of everything that you've done, you named your podcast. No. We do hard things.
Why am I more with the other camp? Because you talked in the fall about me or crossing over, right? Oh, Mark's crossed over. He's come over to the other side. Yay, he's all crazy, and that's great. I think that it's always cyclical, right? Like we're always working on the same challenges. It's the same problems, it's the same challenges, it's the same setbacks, just at a higher level, at a different level. There's not going to be a time. No, I mean, there's not going to be a time like I get anxious about something. I work on it. I feel better. Something else is going to come along that's going to make me feel anxious. I get really focused on fitness, and I know that if I focus on fitness and diet, I'm going to bulk up. I'm going to lean up. I'm going to feel great. I'm going to look great. And then I focus on something else. And so that stuff starts to slip. I'm more on the other side as the advice that I think everyone should take. And then I just don't think anyone's ready to listen to. If you struggle to fall asleep at night because you spend all your time on the phone, you're weak and you have low standards, and you obviously love sabotaging yourself, and you don't care enough about work to get a good night's sleep, which is affecting your health and affecting everything. It's like they're not ready for any of that stuff. And that's to me what damn the Doritos is.
Yeah, but that's like everything.
It's like, if you look at I think of you being black and white. You do hard things, and that's great. And then I go like, dude. Oh man, I'm not as strong as that.
No, because you haven't seen me. You haven't seen me work with somebody who's like that. You see me work with someone like you, who is ready for a bigger push. You're ready for a bigger push. You don't want me to come on and say, Mark, it's okay. Like, just have another milkshake, dude. Just like, you know what, whole week, just do milk. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to be that guy. I'm not being that guy for you. But if you see me working with, look at my entire website. It's meant for the complainers. It's meant for those people. I redesigned my entire brand to try to target the people who are at the very first step, who need to be unburdened, who I'm telling them it's not their fault. Ultimately, I'm getting to, it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to fix it. But they're not ready to hear that because they're still so stuck in the past, blaming themselves for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you at the start of your keto journey looked at what you have to do to maintain it, of going to the gym 7 days a week, waking up crazy early, running at 12 miles an hour, eating like no cheat day ever. Like if you said all those things to Mark Drager who's starting up, you're like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I can't do that. That's the same thing. That's the equivalent of like, you need to go harder. You're not ready to go harder. Harder is just getting the food out of the house. That's a great first hard step.
Okay. I don't know why you're surprised that I lean more towards thinking the other advice. Yeah. So I guess on the things that I'm ready for next level on, I do like next level. I've always hated basic classes. I hate sitting in school, listening to basic stuff. I hate basic moves. I hate all that basic stuff. But at the same time, when it comes to my vices or the things I let slide, that's not where that's where I like these little hacks because they make me feel better.
At the end of the day, you just have to ask yourself, am I proud of myself for doing this? Am I proud of myself for doing it? That's where Dan Doritos came from, because I had Doritos in my cabinet or whatever. And that's the advice everybody gives. Get rid of them. And then I thought, wait, do I now never, I'm teaching myself I can't be around Doritos ever? What's going to happen when I go to Mark Drager's karaoke party? He's got Doritos there. I'm going to destroy that bag and it's over. And then if I go on a cruise ship.
Luckily, Nina's hatred of karaoke and your dislike of driving
social gatherings
to visit a friend are the guardrails that keeps you from having to worry about coming across Doritos at my karaoke party.
That's where it came from. Like, no, I don't want to live my whole life just avoiding it. I think that's really unhealthy. I think that's teaching myself that I suck. And I never, so I've moved more and more towards prescriptive. I used to preface it with like, I'm a weird dog. This is crazy, but I find it works for me. And then I've seen it work for enough other people. Like the joy you get from doing the difficult thing.
But then there's also the letdown is more crushing when you don't live up to it.
Sure. Well, there's setbacks in everything, Mark. The setbacks when you don't hit if you went back to the gym and you didn't hit your 12 and you ran an 8 or something, great. What do? You work your way back up to the 12. When you lose a client or you lose a great team member in your business, or, like, setbacks are part of growth. It's going to happen. So now what? Like, you expect a setback. Great. It's just not, hopefully, daily setbacks, right? Like if it's every day, then you're not ready. So you go softer, but you're going to have setbacks and you keep going.
We'll leave it there.
All right. Does that help?
That was good. It was good. It's helpful for me. I like to circle around these big picture topics every once in a while.
It's just step one. I know. I'll have fun talking to Tom about that next time. Just like David Goggins, who comes at it from such a hard perspective. Mm-hmm. You like it, people are ready for change. You love the mindset. You love the energy. You love the I can do hard things. Let's go. Let's push through. But then I think it's hard to live. I don't know that it's healthy to live in that spot all day long.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can.
But I think striving to make yourself proud, because that's a choice all the time. It's a choice all the time. Like, before you go to bed tonight, you'll have 20 other opportunities to make yourself proud. From how you show up with your wife, to how you treat the staff, to the next video you make, to what you tell your kids when you call them back. Like, all of those moments are moments to make yourself proud. With intention. Like, this is really just about living an intentional life. And your goal at the end of the day is to have more points in the proud of myself bucket than in the not proud of myself bucket. Because every day you're going to not make yourself proud too. It's going to happen. So consciously, with intention, putting more points in the I'm proud of myself bucket every day.
Let's go.
If you want to see me hijack last week's episode, Mark's not allowed to talk about what he wants. It's all Evan. Check the video right there next to us. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe. We'll see you there. We blow Mark's mind by splitting up
vision
a concept
sales and marketing
that he's been using for years